everybody, it's the Gregarious Giggler here, and today I'm coming to you to talk about men.
They buy you dinner, open your door. Other than that, what are they good for, men?
So in my other videos, I've discussed what it is that has caused men to no longer be men these days. Today, I want to talk about why that is and what the cause of it is. The cause of it, in great measure, is the fault of women and the fact that women are no longer women today. But that's a subject for another vlog on another day. Men are terrible because they just are, at least according to women. Not me personally, but every other woman on the face of the earth, it would seem. Take, for example, the claim that former First Lady Michelle Obama made the other day at a summit in Chicago.
Because you're running the world, and I know that's one of the questions. It's like raising our men. We got to I was talking to my mother about that the other day. Yes. It's like the problem in the world today is we love our boys, and we raise our girls, you know? We raise them to be strong, and sometimes we take care not to hurt men. And I think we pay for that a little bit. And that's a we thing, because we're raising them, you know? And it's powerful to have strong men, but what does that strength mean? You know, does it mean respect? Does it mean responsibility? Does it mean compassion? Or are we protecting our men too much so they feel a little entitled and a little, a little self-righteous sometimes? But that's kind of on us too, as women and mothers. Yeah, as we nurture men and push girls to be perfect.
He says that women are to blame for everything, but let's stay on point here. He says that women are to blame for the fact that men are entitled and self-righteous. So I assume that you're including your husband in that broad generalization of all men, because I would agree with that. Barack, is very self-righteous and definitely thinks he's entitled.
But the insane amount of taxpayer money he spent on all of his vacations as president is just insane. The final amount Obama made you spend, the American taxpayer, on his vacations, nearly $100 million. Yes, $90 million. No joke.
But I digress. Why, Michelle, do you think it is that men are self-righteous and feel entitled? Well, let's look at all the evidence, shall we? She must be referring to all those men marching in protests, wearing pussy hats and holding vulgar signs, talking about women's rights.
Campaign, and I want everyone to grow a pair. Woo! I'm a pussy for peace, not a piece of pussy.
Here because, quite frankly, we're not going to take it anymore.
We're getting married in July, and I want to make sure we get married, and that no one takes that away from us.
Hey, ho, ho, Donald Trump has to go. This is what democracy looks like. You guys have any idea how beautiful you are?
Humanize women and every woman and girl in our country and across the world. No Trump.
No KKK, no fascist USA. Not a creaky tweeter. Can't build a wall. Hands too small. Donald Trump, go away. Racist, sexist, anti-gay.
My name is Sophie Cruz. We are here together, making a chain of love to protect our families.
We are all and should be treated as equals.
And they cannot police us again. We birthed this nation, and we can unbirth a nation if we choose.
Here, her body, my choice. My body, my choice.
Guys, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love you all.
Oh. Oops. Well, they're entitled too, right? Or maybe you're referring to all those male leaders around the world, you know, in countries like Thailand.
President Barack Obama, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen.
Or Lithuania?
The Kremlin is rehearsing aggressive scenarios against its neighbors.
Denmark?
Well, I want to welcome Prime Minister Tony Schmidt to the White House and to the Oval Office.
Germany.
I've been told many times during the last few days that there are very special expectations of my speech here today.
Costa Rica?
It is important to have women in power for basically two reasons. First, because when we are in power, we have the possibility of changing the way the power is delivered, the way that politics works. We bring into politics, we bring into powers.
Argentina.
I wish to welcome our speaker, President Cristina Fernández de Kirchner.
Bueno, muy buenas noches a todos y a todas. En principio, mil disculpas porque sé que debía haber estado aquí a las 19:30. Cuando fui recibida por el decano me dijo, comprendemos los horarios latinos.
Liberia?
De Son Excellence, Madame Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Présidente de la République de Liberia.
Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, distinguished ladies and gentlemen.
Trinidad and Tobago?
To advocate within the Commonwealth family that we must have a new partnership between the developed members and the underdeveloped members.
Iceland?
Hello everyone. I'm very pleased to be able to address this very exciting gathering, which unfortunately I was not able to attend.
Oh man, you must feel really silly right about now.
No.
Well, maybe she wasn't talking about world leaders feeling elitist and self-righteous. Maybe she was just talking about men in the media. You know, like talk show hosts. People with real power and influence over the masses.
Show for you today.
Well, okay. She may not have been talking about them either. She may have been talking about men who show their masculinity in a very overpowering and demanding way, like in tampon ants? Okay, well, maybe she was talking about a long time ago, when women really didn't have that much power or authority in Hollywood.
Cathy's live most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square. But Cathy's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair, but they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. How will you make it on your own? This world is awfully big. Girl, this time you're all alone.
Well, if she's not talking about political world leaders, if she's not talking about television moguls or advertisers or people in Hollywood, then what is she talking about? She's suggesting that life is like it was back in the 50s, where women were oppressed by their husbands and they were made to live in fear because of their husbands being in charge of everything.
But there were satisfactions in being a married pair. One thing was our partnership in handling the money. Conflicts over money can be a real problem in marriage. But we decided together how Pete's salary would be spent. Maybe we didn't always agree, but we decided together. So our joint decisions on this and other problems of home management helped in my adjustments from a working girl to a non-employed wife. Aided by little bits of fun and thoughtfulness, the partnership flourished.
Well, I give up, Michelle. I guess I'm not really sure what you want. I mean, it seems to me like women are the ones who feel really entitled these days.
Today we're going to talk about privilege and what privilege means. People of color are more disadvantaged than white people on the basis of their skin color.
Okay. I'm gonna try to stay on point. Ah! Oh, God.
As a predominantly straight cisgender person.
Oh, there's that word again, cis. But how did she use it this time? Predominantly straight cisgender person. Does that mean you're basically straight, but you have doubts?
And who comes from a middle-class family and is able to attend college. I have privilege because of my sexual orientation.
Oh my God, make it stop. You have privilege because of your sexual orientation? Because you like penises, you have privilege. The lunacy never ends.
I'm also able-bodied and relatively thin, so I don't have to deal with ableism or body shaming.
Man, she's just knocking these issues out of the park left and right, isn't she? Ableism? What the hell is ableism? Oh my God, it's a real word. It actually exists. The internet defines it as discrimination in favor of able-bodied people. You know, I was really worried about that because I often see all kinds of people beating others up who are in wheelchairs. I'm sorry, I can't say that with a straight face. I see a lot of one-legged men and women getting their crutches stolen all the time. Who comes up with this crap? Oh, and she's thin, so we don't have to worry about her ass getting made fun of. I feel like you're suggesting that you're perfect and you have no problems. That must be why you cannot get that infectious smile off your face, and your sheer contentment and joyous demeanor are hard to turn away from. Stop being so happy about living such a privileged life.
And as a woman, I also don't benefit from male privilege.
And there it is.
You got it exactly right.
Because you're a woman, you don't have male privilege. Yep.
If I were to send a resume to a potential employer, they would automatically categorize me as a woman because of my first name, and then they'd look at my last name and be like, hey, this chick is Asian. So before they even meet me, they're already making assumptions about me based on my race and my gender.
Yeah, they're already making the assumption that because you're a woman, it would be good to hire you because then they wouldn't be accused of being sexist by not hiring a woman. And the fact that you're Asian, they're assuming you're a genius. Just terrible. I know.
In my experience, it seems like people accept the idea of class privilege the easiest because it's the only form of oppression that's still easily measurable today. Wealth is like this tangible thing that's very easy for people to grasp in our modern day capitalist society. However, with white privilege and male privilege, people, particularly members of these dominant groups, are more resistant to understanding or believing in their existence. It's really easy to say that sexism and racism are problems of the past when you're not directly affected by either of those things.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not affected by those things. And I'm not a man.
In the US especially, we believe in very strongly culturally ingrained values of meritocracy and the American dream. Basically that you can attain anything if you work hard enough.
Yep. We can achieve anything.
It's even so ingrained in me that even though I know it's a flawed sentiment, part of me still believes it.
So, wait, you're saying that even though you don't believe that that's possible, you still believe it?
But we can't ignore that there are people who have been given success that they did not work for or earn simply on the basis of privilege.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yep. Yes. There are instances of people receiving status and positions that they didn't deserve or earn. Case in point.
Okay, so Title VII is against the city because it's the employer. The employer. All right. So Title VII is the city alone. And then what else do you have against anybody else?
The Section 1983 claims for violation of the Equal Protection Clause are asserted against all individuals
who were decision makers and a failure to certify the tests, or
all those involved.
Everyone.
Written about this result are named in the action.
All right. So you're including I think there are only 3 board members that you charge. 3 board members?
2, Your Honor.
2 board members, and then you have the mayor and the 2 executive officers, correct?
And people who have had to work twice as hard as their fellow colleagues just to reach the same status. There's a reason why most of the great literary classics are about straight, cisgender, white men. It's because their experience is believed to be universal. Anyone can relate to a white man because they're not limited to the confines of their race and gender. White and straight and male and cisgender are neutral identities with unlimited possibilities. However, if you're a woman or black or gay, you're put into the category of other.
Alright. I'm gonna try and stay calm here. Let me see if I understand this correctly. You don't want to be like a man, but you don't want to be different. You don't want to be put into the category of other. Maybe we should be in the category of other, because we're the other sex. Oh, and by the way, are you trying to tell me that you don't put men into the category of other?
Novels and works of art about women are considered indicative of the greater human experience. They're tossed aside into the category of women's novels, which, don't get me wrong, is a great category to be in, but it's not taken as seriously.
Jane Eyre isn't taken seriously. Wuthering Heights isn't taken seriously. What Happened isn't taken... Oh, okay, wait, no, you're right.
I want to make it clear that I don't mean to fault anyone for being white or male or experiencing any type of privilege.
Oh, phew, what a relief. I'm so glad to hear you're not faulting anyone for being white or male. Because, you know, it's a choice after all. We choose to be white, and some choose to be male. Not being gay, though. That's not a choice.
Trans men have experienced both sides of the gender-divided society, so I'm gonna let them explain male privilege in their own words.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Privilege is also like the absence of experience. As a man, I have the privilege of getting on New York City subway train at 1 in the morning and don't have to worry about a man wagging his dick at me. That is a male privilege that I like.
You got a little too much of that sister attitude still going on, my brother.
The first time I noticed I had male privilege was when I was walking home from hanging out with a bunch of friends who happened to be women. They had expressed being a little worried about walking home in the dark, and while I was walking, I realized that I had no worry in the world about being talked to or stared at or followed or assaulted.
This person looks like somebody I would be attracted to, like somebody I would date. But it's a woman. She has a vagina. Moving on.
A man could just walk down the street and no one is going to bother him. No one's going to ask him to smile. No one's going to ask him where he's going. No one's going to ask him if he's married.
Wow. So I've been hit on a lot, but I have to say, but never in my life while I'm walking down the street has a man approached me and asked me if I'm married. Because if that had happened, a conversation definitely would have ensued about rings.
Unexpected aspect of male privilege for me was being taken way more seriously than I was before, and it's funny because I have all the same ideas, still thinking about the same things, and yet sometimes I would literally just be talked over or laughed at.
That sucks that you weren't taken seriously before, but now that you have facial hair, people actually listen to you? What people do you associate with? I must be really lucky as a woman because all the people I hang out with listen to me when I talk. This is to suggest that women get talked over and laughed at. Shut up, woman.
Night, and my brothers are around. I think it might have been Single Ladies. Something came on, and I'm like, oh, the Single Ladies, oh, the Single. And they go, you're a man now. Men don't wild out to Beyonce like that.
You're a man now? I thought you were always a man, but just in the wrong body. And a point to me.
If a guy wants to really understand male privilege and understand what it is, talk to women.
Step back, listen to what other people are going through, ask them what they're going through, and I think you'll see that the world doesn't run exactly the way you think it does.
You're doing nothing wrong by having privilege. It's just what you do with it.
Wow, I feel so much more woke after that video. That's why men have privilege. Could it be that maybe women are the ones who feel self-righteous and entitled about everything? And they think that every inconvenience that is placed upon them is the fault of men because men are evil? Could it be that women haven't had to endure any real suffering at the hands of men for literally centuries, if ever? And because they've created pussy-whipped, ballless droids serving their every women desire, they have forgotten what real male domination and oppression looks like? This is what women are thought of in Africa. Do you know why women have their genitals mutilated in parts of the world? Also because of Islam, but that's another subject for another time. Do you know why they have this done? I'll let the horse tell you from her own mouth.
If woman does not circumcise, she becomes sexually very active. You see, and then she can, whenever she goes out, she tries to rape even the men. You see, so in order to reduce that kind of sensitivity, we have to remove this kind of...
Now, tell me again how it is that women's books, which go on to becoming bestsellers, aren't considered on par with men's literary achievements? Tell me more about how women are oppressed here in the Western world. Tell me more about how it is that men are the ones who feel self-righteous and entitled here in the West. Would you like to see some more oppression?
Ik film mijn videoblog.
For what?
For myself.
No, not allowed. Sorry.
Und kann ich fragen?
No. Excuse me. My husband is not allowed. My husband will kill me.
Sorry.
Oh, shucks. She said their husbands would kill them. And then she made the gesture of slitting her throat. That's male privilege. Spare me the bleeding free because it's beautiful, and men still oppress women for having their period ads. Women are the ones who feel self-righteous and entitled these days. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Women make their mission to hate men. So why shouldn't men hate women? I know I do. That's it for today, everybody. Make sure to check out my blog series, Why You Don't Have a Girlfriend and Why, as a Result, I Don't Have a Boyfriend. Have a great day, everybody. Ciao!
Pee-pee!